Welcome to the Nonsensus. I'm Zachary Winchester, here with my friend Yola.
Hi.
Hello. And we're talking about something that we have you just found out just now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, me too. We have just heard, had the news strike our knowing that Burning Man is canceled in the year 2020. This year, so there will not be a Burning Man, something that has been a big old part of my life for the last decade. How many times have you gone to Burning Man, Yola?
3 times. My
And
first time was in 2014.
that's totally enough for it to hook you.
Oh yeah.
And I imagine there are a lot of various reactions out there. What's your reaction?
I am actually surprised because I really thought that by the end of August it would be fine, right? And it kind of means that, that it's maybe more serious than a lot of people think.
Well, there's conjecture in this. Observation from lots of different sources, not just talking heads, but just what I see from the whole situation. I could totally foresee it being late August or even July and it being like, all right, situation is looking different. There's not overwhelmed hospitals right now. So we have this really complex moral question with each other of how do we return to air quotes normalcy, or at least like can we have gatherings again? And I could see it being a very different situation by August, but I imagine there's just total conjecture that, well, no, I think that probably the reason why they just had to make the call no matter what is there's just so many organizations, there's so much red tape that goes into Burning Man, so it's like
Yeah.
BLM alone, and like just the amount of difficulty from what I understand that it takes to have Burning Man happen for it to just be approved legally every year. And now with this, it was like, yeah, there's this other festival, Electric Forest, that I've been going to for the last 10 years, and
Mm.
they just made their announcement today, and it was in late June. And
Oh,
I and pretty much everybody was getting to the point of like checking their website every so often, like, come on now, are you gonna? I mean, that no way, right? And
oh,
then but this is a shocker for me, and this is that is a huge part of my year, and for so many folks, it is such a big part of their identity. And
oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's like where it's for a lot of folks that I know, it's their one opportunity to to art heavily or to just be um just unadulterated themselves, and to be around a level of sincerity that doesn't happen. I mean, there's a lot of like festival experiences that I've been to like that, but Burning Man, unlike any other, is it's this 7 days. I mean, we call it home. We say welcome home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I really love what you said about making Burning Man a more global and outside of Burning Man experience.
Oh yeah, I've been saying it for years. Actually, to be entirely honest, I caused this. I've been saying I wish that Burning Man gets canceled one year, um, for several years now. And my reason being, and I hope that this is what happens now. However, my wish was for Burning Man for the announcement that it was canceled to come like right after a Burning Man happens. So
Oh,
like
so
September
everybody
10th,
has
we find
energy.
out. Yeah, because then you're like, we got a whole year. We're not just gonna stop because you have the momentum, you have the magic, you literally have the dust still on you, and you're like, okay, obvious thing to do. We take this magic into the world. We run with this momentum now. But I guarantee there's a lot of folks that are taking this news
Oh
of,
yeah.
of it being canceled as, oh, so we just don't get to sincere magical humanity this year. And that would have me mega bummed out, but that's just really not how I see it, to be honest. Of my my interpersonal truth at this moment is, well, I mean, there's been so many of these. Well, we got to do something.
But exactly. But have you seen how everybody's been so like everybody? A lot of people have been very, very creative about how to reach out to people. I've had so many people reach out to me that I'm not really friends with, and suddenly like they want to know how I'm feeling way more than usually.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. So I can totally imagine that people who are that creative at the level of Burning Man people, that they're gonna come up with something absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a conversation I'm having a lot. Is there such a thing as a creative person? Or I experience it as a muscle, and then a muscle that can become an addiction and a reflex of like, I need to create, I need to be. But yeah, the creative adaptability is what we're doing right now.
Yes.
On March 10th, my year and the trajectory of my whole life was so different than it is right now, and different than it was a week ago. And the world has been changing, and yes, doors have been closing, but this right now, I've been really enjoying and feeling really inspired by this game that we have to conjure as much connectivity and sincerity as we can without getting together in physical space. And I definitely don't want that to last months and months, but I can handle a month. I'm almost like seeing it as a ceremony, a festimony, a festival in itself. It's like the theme is what can we beam out from our homes. And I know that a lot of turtles have very different circumstances and situations and
Yes.
scenarios.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to I'm pretty comfortable. And as far as this entire year goes, though, it's just gonna be this game of what do we do? So what do we do differently? So if I were to just ask you right now, point blank, Yola, it's it's August 20th of 2020. You would be getting ready to go to Burning Man. What are you gonna do?
I think it all depends if we get more relief from our government, because like how are people going to live? That's the number one question. A lot of people live month to month. A lot of people live month to month. So like, what's going to happen with that?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, if you know the lockdown just has been extended to May 15 now in Los Angeles. It's also another news of the day. I don't know how long is your lockdown where you are.
To April 30th for sure. Oh man, I heard something about California talking about several months out. Sometime,
Well, now
and it's because of is it because LA is so densely populated that it's such a thing to avoid that even though they're not having high numbers right now, it's like we have
yeah.
to make sure that this doesn't hit here.
For now, it's officially May 15. As of today, they just changed it. They
Wow.
just made it longer.
Wow.
But yeah, so like, who's going to help us survive is the question.
Yeah.
And
How are we?
we've seen all the corporations being, how do you call it, bailed out. And what about the people? And we are paying the taxes that go to the corporations. So it's completely absurd.
Yeah, yeah. To go on to the politics tangent right now is
Oh,
so
yeah.
many levels and layers. Oh, I could imagine there being a better person to have his hands on the steering wheel of this ship right now,
Oh, yeah.
being as the obvious move would to maybe to this is probably time to transcend transition into our AI socialism sort of thing, but we've got a situation where I am a very very hopeful person, but I wouldn't rely on the best kind of help coming from that sector of reality. So yeah, it could be.
I really love how you put AI together with socialism.
Oh, I'm having thoughts and feelings all the time of that. There's other people who are so worried about the robots
Oh no, I'm
wiping us out.
yeah, no, I'm one of those people who are very, very helpful, hopeful actually, in
Yeah,
robots.
if that's where it's going, that's where it's going. I think it's so egotistical to be.
Yeah, specifically AI, because it's artificial intelligence. So an entity that's intelligent is more prone to learn more and more and become more and more intelligent, and way more intelligent than most humans, and they're gonna save us. I'm pretty sure.
This is funny that this is exactly the answer to what are we going to do because Burning Man is canceled, is not talk about Burning Man being canceled for a minute longer than we have to. Let's talk about fucking robots and becoming cyborgs. I had an experience once where I had several mushrooms, portobellos, and also a thing that helps neurochemically induce temporary ego obliteration. And this cyborg, it was such a tremendous feeling because it was the earth, it was the geomancy earth magic combined with the biology-less uh air vac data mined robot online. So it was like this. There was this game I used to play called StarCraft, and there was the Protoss, and they were very both like they were like Avatar Earth Magic sort of thing, like the movie Avatar, but also super futuristic cyborg online. And I'm not the idea of, I don't know. Yeah, now it gets spiritual immediately. I just think it's very presumptuous to think that continuing evolution and biology as it feels comfortable or that we identify with now, that's like what we got to stick to.
Oh my God.
If robots are next, if robots are what we're becoming, or VR or plugged into the cloud, I'm in, I'm up.
Absolutely.
That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. This is gonna pass anyway. Like everything is gonna evolve. Everything is gonna change. So why not into super intelligent creations?
Yeah, or just do you lucid dream?
Yes.
Like I've been having the best those recently. Also, I've had some of my most terrible nightmares recently. I have sleep paralysis a lot, but my dream life and my psychedelic life. It what is possible to experience without this, like, I understand what's cool about this. It's continuity land. It's like if I break or build something, it's there tomorrow and we can like pick up where we left
Continuity.
off.
I love how you called it.
But I've heard of people having continuity land in their dreams. I have a friend who swears that she can work on a project like in dream world, come back to that space and save game.
I have
Right
come
back
back to a dream once or
there.
twice.
Oh.
I have. It's or I have had the same dream, like the same things happen, but then it's different by the end of it. But I haven't had
Wow.
it in a while. But it's amazing. I've had a lot of very interesting dream experiences.
Wow. Mine are very unstable. But yeah, I would boundless is another word. Unstable or boundless, limitless. So a limitation of I you know what I see it. I accuse myself of being too Pollyanna, maybe, but as they say, toxic positivity sometime. But like, I'm good with feeling a wave of grief when I need to. But I actually, about the cancellation of Burning Man, a cancellation of all the festivals this year, I I honestly, I have only felt that, okay, now we must do what I've been wanting, wishing, and with several others, like what has been the main signal, I guess, like probably the biggest actionable meme that we have. We need to make the world, our lives, reality, the musical, the festival, or just reality, the festival, if you're not into musicals. But you need to make your life how you want to be and live. And whether or not we have robots or benevolent aliens, we have each other, and we do things when we're forced to choose. When we're forced to choose, like we're
Yes.
doing this right now. I don't, I enjoy talking to you so much, Yola, but let's be honest, months could go by with only little text exchanges and stuff. Now something
I
happens and we're talking.
Yeah, I've been very like I love change in general. It's very good for your brain. It's very good for resetting. I have been very as much as I'm struggling as most lower middle class or working class people struggle, I have been very relieved by the fact that I can't really go to work because there's no work that I can do that I'm trained to do that is available for me right now. And that's been actually, as much as I need money, I love not having to work. So I've been focusing a lot on very, very creative things. I finally finished working on this book that I've been trying to publish for years now. So I finally have time. And if we really get the relief fund and we really get those direct deposits and checks very soon, I'll be very happy with everything, except that, of course, it's a class war situation. We see how people who have, I have a small studio. It's not big, but I'm safe. I'm alone. I don't have a partner that's abusing me. I don't have to, worry about my 5 kids or whatever. So like I'm fine, and I can say that I'm fine. But I know that a lot of people are struggling right now.
Oh yeah. The game of comparison is useless at times, but other times I do think that there is value if your reaction to knowing that there are others with far because it's subjective worse problems. So for me, there have been moments where I start to feel a little bit of the woe is me come on from my particular situation, and then I think I'm comfortable, I'm safe. I know my sister is safe, my mom's safe. I know I I I I also don't have to report to a war zone nightmare scenario where I am under immense stress and the opposite of the luxury that I have now of isolation and introspection and reflection right now. That's how I've been spending a lot of my time, really, is probably having the most focused and productive in a therapeutic meditative sense of like, I don't know, really reassessing my values and how I want to exist. This this is reality for now. Things are going to change, and
That's my big hope about this whole situation. Is I really hope that this will show the whole world that the way we've been living is unsustainable and not unfair, and etc. etc. And that we will be forced to go into a different paradigm with helping the poor, helping the middle class people way more, because there's no other way.
yeah, my brain is always generating silver linings or best case scenarios, and then worst case scenarios at other times. I see it all, and what it comes back to as an individual right now, whatever your circumstances is, whatever your circumstances are, we to be all in all reaction, that's not going to go well. I'm proud to see several friends of mine just really immediately going into, okay, my mode will have to change, but I'm going to show up, and I feel this is definitely going to call us a bunch of service. I think this is going to force us to be who we are, or what it is going to be the opposite of boring, for sure.
Yeah, become who you are. But it also, I really hope that we will be able to find serious different ways of helping people live, basically, of dealing with people's anxieties, of dealing with people's inability to function, because we're like, we're like looking at a mirror right now, basically.
Mm-hmm. Somebody commented, Drew commented, to hold a vision of the world you wish to see is 5D. My reality tunnel is strong. Reality tunnel. Robert Anton Wilson put that. into my lexicon, into my tool belt of stuff. Yeah, I gotta say, to go right into, sometimes I'm in forums where I feel like I want to back off, going full-fledged spiritual, remember you are dreaming with it, but this experience is like bringing to bear on every dimension of reality of the world and myself, from political to my very personal unspoken psyche. Everything's really clear and here and very real right now. And right now we're in the incubation point of having this time where you don't like if you are one to look to how you can serve, there's limitations how you can't at this moment right now in Michigan, the hospitals are overwhelmed. It's like it really seems like the best call for us all to um to stay home, to and and connecting and helping people in being present with them is not an option. So
Oh my gosh.
you got inward, and you can express through this internet thing. And as always, it's when you're feeling sincerely compelled to do either or, then I do. But yeah, it, it is important to not do the thing where we don't acknowledge that something very, very weird is happening, and uncertainty is what spooks us out, is it not?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, the most maybe.
Yeah.
Have you heard? Have you had like your neighbors freaking out or things like that because they're too much in confinement?
I've had mixed experiences. I've had I'm here at I'm in the house where I was a baby in this house, and it looks very different than it was then. But like this room that I'm in right now, this was my grandfather's workroom, and it's been entirely changed, but it's pretty poetic actually that I end up back here, and I'm living my mother inherited this house from my grandmother who passed away in 2017. Her name was Dolores, and Dolores from the Cranberries died in the same week. That was a really wild synchronicity. I could say a lot about my grandmother, but anyway, I am now sheltering in place, corn thriving, doing this
Your
this
current thriving.
yeah, a lot of the time. I mean, when I'm awake and when I'm up, that's how I've always experienced days in reality. There's up and going and whoa, I'm in a world mode, and then there's points of the day and month and times where I'm whoa, or turtling up, and um that pulsing has been happening the whole time I've been alive, but now it's when you're up and extroversion is possible, and there are limited choices, but with those limited choices we have been leaning into certain things. It's I'm really grateful that it's been a pretty positive experience for me thus far.
I have to say that me too. Yeah, me too. Although I'm glad we're getting the deposits soon because that would be a problem.
Yeah. Well, and I acknowledge that the nightmares abound. Oh man, I've, I've 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 been giving myself. I've been trying to regulate there being some sort of a structure for when I take in news and how I take in news. Like, if it's not just all day being in curiosity, looking, going to the entire. At some point, it's like, okay, I now have have an idea of the map of the world, and what is pertinent, what is pragmatic to know of how to behave today, tomorrow, and what to be thinking about, and then tune out. Well, no, not well, tune out from the constant feed of that. But it's really interesting that the cancellation of Burning Man it like really registers high actually on the holy fucks of that's a pretty charmed life you're living if
If that's your biggest problem, yeah.
yeah, and
Sure.
I refuse to say problem for that though. It's it's so hard not to just go full magical spiritual and be like we're deciding what reality is. I don't know what's going to happen specifically, but we only ever have one choice, and that's to make the world as our world, our time, as magical as possible. And it's
I really hope, yeah, I really hope that this situation will make us see that it does depend a lot on us, and of course on us as a civilization.
yeah, like the thing that it's coming up. So festivals, this valve of freedom that we get a few times a year. I've been thinking for a very long time and saying a lot about that how it would be good for me, just me personally, but also us. I do think that it could be good to not be binging whatever that energy, that magic, that like, because obviously it's in us because we do it when we're allowed to. And 2020 now in the gravest circumstances, but not the gravest. There's no you can never say that things could always be worse, and that's a gratitude thing that I do in my head sometimes. It's like but here we are, and we're we're gonna we're gonna do our lives. We're gonna be magical. We're just not gonna have these really obnoxious conglomerations of actually festivals. To be honest, do you ever like? I love Burning Man so much. I love Burning Man, but it's ridiculous. It's obnoxious. Can't we get a handle on the understanding that we live on a spherical taco castle in endless space, and we can do this a little bit every day, all the time, as opposed to just trying to cram it all in this 7
I
days?
think only the fossil fuels and the bacon is obnoxious at Burning Man.
Yeah, no, I mean
I'm sure.
noxious. I just I really like my job at Burning Man. And I really do enjoy having a duty and a service that is structured the same every day. I love that so much because in as they say default world, but I don't say that, but I just said that. But it's a Burning Man term for the
Yes.
world away from Burning Man in the default world, as one burner once said. Um, I don't feel like I have a job that is also what I do and what I love to do and what I would do if there was no incentive and if there was no survivalist or monetary any. I I love my job at Burning Man is giving people the opportunity to speak on stage
Mm-hmm.
and just helping facilitating sincere communication. And so it may there will be a moment where I will just to be honest about right now, I don't feel the emotional sadness about this now. I could use the word yet because I think at some point I will feel bummed out about it. But my immediate reaction, Burning Man is canceled. I have to do the thing that I do at Burning Man that happens so intensely and rapturously at Burning Man because of what the container of Burning Man is and what that space and then those who gather and us together in that specific way. But now that specific thing isn't happening, but that same reflex, that's we must do that. And that could only be good to have to do something a different way once for meaningful. We're being conscientious. That's the thing that I see is so positive about this is it's where like I mean being forced by circumstances to be conscientious is one thing, but there's a lot of folks who are learning about what making choices because they affect others right
Mm-hmm.
now. And I think a kinder world will emerge after this. I really do think that.
I really hope so too. A kinder world and better economical system.
Yeah, well, that it's so obvious and unavoidable that the
Yeah,
structures of the world will change. They're going to need to change. There's not going to be a 2057 with things wired the way they are now, and it's been known for some time that the transition would be weird, and it seems so obvious right now. And there's, oh my god, Joe Exotic is the Mad King currently, but that uh that's um that's what it that's how I've experienced change in other realms of life, is that something gets so ferociously obvious that it needs to change that you have to, and then you do. So
yeah,
I love the the smaller micro community interactions that I'm seeing happen now so sincerely. And there's no use saying we should have been doing that the whole time. It's that's what's the uplifting thing about now, is it's like, well, we are doing this now. And wow, Burning Man is canceled.
I know. It's yeah, it means that it's gonna be different for a long time.
Yeah, I was thinking when it was seeming like it might be canceled, I was telling anyone who talked at my face about that, I would say words back at them, something like, it's so far away that
Yeah,
it could be mid-July and we're looking around like, oh wow, it's a very different ball game. It's a much more complex conversation about spread and social distancing now. And I was actually thinking that this year's Burning Man would have a more intense element of save the worldiness to it because of this.
yes,
And maybe even that there would be folks who are more frivolously like, let's go to Burning Man just for the tapioca orgy and the uns that maybe their spaces would be filled by folks who are like, the inner council of the world's wizardly weirdos are gathering
yeah,
for a Burning Man ritual in the desert in this year of the first horse of the skeletal pestilent horse of the apocalypse has reared, and now we are gathering to become the fellowship of the whatever the fuck. And I
yeah.
was really excited that it was gonna be so epic, because um
Well,
and now
hopefully,
that's not happening.
no, but that's hopefully what's gonna happen next year.
Yeah, and it's also what we're gonna do. It's just what we're gonna do. We're
Yeah, yeah. Gonna do instead, of course.
Have you had the experience of video chatting like this with a bunch of folks, and they're all in different countries?
You mean with friends?
Yeah, but one of the ones where it's particularly like, if there was a little map of the world, like continent would glow up when somebody talks, like that's how I would like to have us figure
A
out a
Burning Man
way.
chat?
Yeah, the digital festival thing is, yeah, we're talking to each other. I've always loved words and talking. That's actually one of my favorite. Wow, now this has got me on a tangent of, this is highly optimistical. But one of my favorite things at Burning Man is exactly this. There's
Yeah,
other options, but like, I just like talking to people, talking with people, talking
yeah.
to, talking to, and talking with. I never realized that.
To strangers. Yeah. Well, probably something like that. You know, it's gonna be more and more happening. That's what
Yeah.
people crave.
Well, I imagine right now, like visually, a map of the world, and you see all the little dots and bloops of connection from the internet and from people communicating. That there's going the so 2019 there was there was some activity, quite a bit, uh, quite a bit more from 1823, but 2020 and beyond, it's fully connected Captain Planet thing happening,
Mhm.
and that's very exciting, and that's the world that I want. And it's almost like a delayed gratification thing, because there is something good about thoroughness, and when something keeps happening annually like that, and you get used to it. Wow. What are we going to do? So I know there's plans, there's plannings. I'm sure there's plannings of folks in the Burning Man Illuminati, but also like all of the little rebel side questers like us are going to decide to do super magical things on those and that week.
Oh my God, I'm sure that something is going to be happening for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for
And,
certain.
and we should all contribute to creating something during that week.
Yeah, and maybe it'll even be cooler because there'll be an understand, like, I imagine there'll be something that is somewhat centralized, or maybe not, and that might even be ideal. The regional Burning Man event that I really love in Michigan, the Great Lakes region one, Lakes of Fire, has also been canceled. That happens in early June. But I if there if gatherings are allowed, then for sure there shall be those, and they shall be extremely spirited jamborees.
Yeah.
And I'm sure so many of us are experiencing levels and period of time of introverting beyond what we may have done in our entire adult lives, or lives period, in this month and the next. I don't know what the future holds, but I personally do find that dialing it in intensifies things.
For sure.
Oh,
Somebody just quoted Pascal. I like that.
what's the Pascal quote? Let me see.
Yeah, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
Yeah. Thank you, Rocco. Yeah, I've done a lot of that in my life, but the introverting, and the introspectiveness that has been happening as of the last, I don't want to say units of time, 3 weeks, since quarantining time.
Yeah.
It's been particular.
And especially that you don't have to feel guilty for it, because there's like you have to stay in, you have to be
Yeah.
like that. So there's no guilt involved. Like if I would do that, I would have days like that in normal life, but then I would feel guilty that I'm not productive, that I'm not this, not that, that I'm not earning
Yeah.
money.
That voice is severely annoying and unproductive. The voice that wants me to be productive is very unproductive,
Oh
I think,
yes,
for me. That's
me
not
too.
when productivity never happens because you're supposed to do it. It's
Yeah,
it's
you
just
should
what
want to
it's
do
just
it.
what you do.
You should want to do it, and that's why UBI is so important on an everyday life.
Yeah, I agree. UBI stands for Universal Basic Income, and I think that it's looking like about that time where we look around and we realize that we're standing on a biosphere, a moldy blueberry in space that generates infinite everything that we utilize and consume and enjoy pretty much forever if we maintain a nice, healthy, harmonic relationship with it. And so yeah, we can stop the game where you have to justify your existence by uh effort things, because we got robots for that now soon. But some of the turtles are afraid of the robots, so now we're in a conversation. um
I mean, I even think that we already are. We don't even have to think about future robots, but already now we are in a situation where we can economically, and it will not even we can't afford it, but it will, everything will be better if everybody has an unconditional universal basic income. And it's like unconditional love. Very close.
There's some that's something that gives me hope, and there's just a certainness, because I know how I am when I kick into gear and actually do the things that where my skills lie, and where when you go into high gear and you're really going for it, we do awesome magical stuff, us humans. And
Yes.
I've met so many at Burning Man. I've met many over the last 10 years, spellbindingly intelligent and capable humans. And they're all honkered down, figuring out what they're going to do to level up humanity right now. And so am I. And so that's what I definitely want to do more than when we have our public sharing time. There obviously there's reason to verbalize and acknowledge what is difficult for each of us and in the grand ways, but I definitely do want to stay in the cheerleading for that. We're figuring it out. We're this is so I'm gonna look this up. The word crisis
Oh,
has Greek roots and of something of opportunity. What has your when did it all start for you, and what has your have you been in an apartment all of the time except groceries and stuff, or do you because I get to go to nature, do you get to go to nature and go on walks and stuff?
no, that's the only thing that I'm really missing is nature. I don't have a good access to nature
Oh
because
geez.
our trails here are not only very like they're usually there's a beautiful sunset happening right now, but they're very like there's a lot of people on trails and they're closed. They're officially closed. You're not supposed to go on trails. So like I can do a neighborhood walk, but there's a lot of people walking on my streets because it's East Hollywood, so it's very populated and very busy. And I don't really feel comfortable walking around many people right now. Although we don't have a lot of cases here, so I've been very lucky with that. But still, it's you don't know what's gonna happen.
The social dynamics are very complex because I want to signal at all times that I'm being as safe and sincerely precautious as possible. So I see part of that as like when viewable, I am masked because this visually signals this is important, and we are trying to be safe for each other and not only ourselves. And then I'll see like 12 bicycling bros laughing and singing, and not that laughing and the singing is wrong, but that there's just that they'll be wearing an aura of fuck this, I don't care, I don't gotta do anything. And and then the little judgments come, or just the genuine concern. I mean, all the things happen, but yeah, I do find that when the park, there's a walking park that is from walking distance from where I am sheltering in place, and going there when it's highly populated, there's just so much on in my mind, and it's such a strange social dynamic of now I'm passing these folks and they live in a completely different reality tunnel about what's going on. Now I'm passing,
Uh-huh.
and that yeah, I have been isolating quite purposefully, and I did find the word crisis, decisive point in progress of a disease, also vitally important or decisive state of things, point at which change must come for better or worse. From
Hmm.
Latinized Greek word crisis, turning point in disease, that change which indicates recovery or death. Yep, I see that, and that's why it's like the only choice is to make the choice of
Of better
life.
instead of
Yeah,
the better instead of worse. Hopefully.
life, love, life, death, fear, love. Well, maybe not life, death. Maybe like well, just yeah. I wish to continue. I wish to continue this reality. In fact, I wish to take this as a level option. Jason Silva has been calling it an involuntary mass ego death.
Oh, nice. Yes, I like that.
I see that happening in me, and I see that in my neighbors.
It's a very interesting experience to now double on your ego death experiments. Do that ego death and that ego death, or that ego death.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
As a psychonaut as well.
it's. I gotta say, I'm not saying on a profit or anything. I think most of us. This is looks very similar to what I've been thinking and dreaming. Not as in dreaming, as in wishing and hoping, but dreaming as in like imagining since like 2010, 11, 12. There have actually been talking about it quite forthrightly that we're coming up to a point where it's going to be, as we say, sink or swim, but more so just epic, considerable changes, not just little tweaks. There's good. We're at a point of yeah, change is needed, and I'm getting better at the game where you look around and you see what me as an individual, as a consciousness, maybe not even as like my hands and actual doings of touching stuff in reality, but just as a mind and emotions, like what is my move right now? And I feel like it's right now in being quarantined and isolation, it is just to be and be becoming.
Yes, yes, that's beautiful.
Because whatever the circumstances are, we are going to need to be super duper magical as ever. And yeah,
How is Fractal living that confinement life?
Fractal's great. Fractal, we found a new place in the forest today that was really, really special. And
Nice.
I went at 7:48 a.m. So that's another thing that this quarantine ceremony has done for me is I've been thinking and like beating myself up about it a lot actually for years about uh what would happen if Zakery woke up earlier. Like if I
Ah,
if or if I cut out the swaths of time that I spend in bed too shy or scared or depressive to face the world, I could frame it that way. But waking up earlier, like and or just having something that is repetitive schedule sort of thing. My life has been mostly free form unfolding chaos for like the last decade, which has been great. But what would happen if I brought structure to the nonsense? And today we found a thing that we can totally do and a place where we can go from here, assuming that we're going to be probably doing our quarantining all here, which is at 7:48 a.m., which is a strange number, but and there's a backstory to that, which I can't actually explain. But at 7:48 a.m., we get to this place in the forest. Takes about 10 minutes to get there on a bicycle. And there's water and there's this little peninsula that goes off into this little swampy area. It's perfect. And
oh,
I will go there and I will commune with Fractal the magical turtle. Yes. Yes, we did that today. We had a conversation. We sung some songs. Hello, Yola.
hello. Oh,
Hello.
I you.
The last time that we were together in a place that wasn't happening through a rectangle glowing screen was at the Burning Man.
No,
That,
it was actually in November.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. I'm absolutely wrong. No, that was Zachary's wrong. Zachary was sending me those turtlepathic messages to say I knew. Yes, yes, that's right. In November, we came and visited you in California,
Yes.
and you're in California now.
Yes, I am. But going back to what you were saying about the forest, you're very lucky that you can see a forest because imagine half of me is Polish, so I'm very in contact with my Polish friends and family. They have even parks, not only forests, but parks are with a police line, do not cross type of thing. They can't even go to the forest, which
Wow.
yeah, which is not only terrible for your well-being and for your health and for the forest, but I mean, it's good for the forest to rest from people. But the problem is the forests in Poland often are under permits for hunting. So a lot of hunters who usually would be distracted and there would be noise because of people walking in the forest. They have nobody to fight them, and they can kill animals freely and legally, and they don't have the COVID. Uh, uh, they're not allowed to go. They are allowed to go to the forest because they're supposedly doing a necessary regulation murders. So it's a huge problem in with Polish forests right now, which I see that you're around you. It's you can totally go into forests, which is great.
Well, yeah, we really do appreciate being able to go to the forest, and we'll think about it now too. That it's something we really need to appreciate
Oh
as
yes.
much as we can because yeah, it's not good taking things for granted like it's like the Goblin King says in the labyrinth, taking things for granted. Doesn't he say something like that? It's mentioned. The subject of taking things for granted is definitely said in the movie The Labyrinth. Yeah. Anywho, I don't know why I made a reference. I should have just. Anywho, yeah. Yeah, we really do appreciate, and we really do. It is there is a lot of things going on right now that are definitely that are sad and scary for many turtles.
Yeah, and like some, it's not a conspiracy theory, which I hate conspiracy theories, but it's actually happening that in some degrees, some countries or political systems are trying to take advantage of a situation where they have to control people and use it for their benefit, like with the hunters, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. So what are we gonna do?
Hmm. Um.
That's just always the question that I think of because because if I don't think of something that we're going to do together to try to make the most magical, then I just go in my shell, and it's okay to go into my shell for as long as I need to. But right now we're having a conversation, so I can't just go silent and inside.
You can if you want to. I will not be offended.
Nope, I'm into this.
Good. What do we do? I always we have to be well informed, vigilant, aware of what's happening, and hopefully people can understand that we need to have people in power to be responsible and to be willing for the good of everyone, you know.
For the good of the turtles.
Oh, so very much for the turtles and
Yeah.
the trees and everyone.
We've met so many turtles that seem to care about the greater turtle and the well being of all of the turtles in the world so much. So why aren't the why what one of them? There's so many of us. Why don't we make the choices that make the decisions that make the most magical things happen in the world? Then,
Because it's often more comfortable to not do them. Because our society is the basis of our society is needs to be reformed,
oh, so
and it's
things like driving in cars and flying in planes and 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 the thing with the numbers, that if you have numbers on the screen on your rectangle in your pocket, that means that you can buy an ice cream cone or five tacos instead of two tacos or have surgery.
surgery. Yeah, absolutely. or a ventilation mask, or uh, what you buy, of course, the quality, where it comes from, what does it cost to the earth.
Stuff comes out of the earth. Lots of stuff. All the things that turtles eat come out of turtles themselves come out of the earth. So it's like the turtles of the earth have to find out how
And
to how to live here.
yeah, information and more conscious choices.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Zakery, you've been thinking, you've been talking about stuff like that for a while now. It's just like really highly, what's the word, like intensified now. It's intense, but we're not going to be intense this year because there's no festivals. And we love festivals, but we've been talking forever about making Reality the Musical a festival forever. So we're going to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
What does that entail? We do well. We don't know. That's that's what I think makes it magical, Fraktyl.
We're in pre-production right now. In pre-production for Reality the Festival.
Yeah, right now, but also kind of we're always doing it.
Yeah, for sure. We have no choice.
Yeah. Well, I love choices. Decisions are magical, but wait, we have choices. I feel like we made some choices today. Yeah, several. Yeah, we chose to go for a bike ride. We chose what we were going to eat. We ate great today. What did you eat today, Yolo? We've been cooking a lot of. I've been cooking. Fraktyl only eats bubbles, and actually I haven't had any food in a long time. But that it's not necessary because I'm not biological. Anyway, let's not break the fourth bubble so hard. What did you have today, Yolo? Have you been cooking foods?
Oh, I actually haven't been cooking a lot because I don't really buy a lot of fresh products because I try to not go to the store too often. So I buy, like, I have a lot of canned soup, Amy's canned soup, which are really good.
I have those. Yeah, I like I like the tomato bisque a lot.
Oh my god, I love the French country style something, and the minestrone is pretty good too. The Italian minestrone.
Minestrone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't been cooking as much as I should. Like I don't really have fresh products. I
Oh,
miss them, but I'm trying to not go out too often. So that's one.
yeah. Yeah, it must be a certain sort of special in a big city with there's so many turtles. When we went to Los Angeles, California, there were so many turtles there.
Yeah, so that's why as soon as I go out of my building, I see a lot of them everywhere.
Do you go
So
for walks and bike rides like we go for walks and bike rides?
not as much as I would like to because I'm kind of afraid. It's hard to avoid people here.
So many turtles, yeah, and we don't want to come close to each other because we don't want to spread the 60s, and
Yeah,
so we want to be careful for each other with each other.
which is
So
crazy.
yeah,
Crazy when you think about it because like everything is connected and everything is about being one, but then you have to consciously be not one and be separated but together.
only for a while though, right? You said it was only for a bit. Yeah, it's we. I mean, don't know how long, but well,
No.
we have an idea of yeah. But you know what? We really don't know about time or what's going to happen. That's kind of true of all the time, that statement. We don't really know about time or what's going to happen, do
Yeah.
we? But all the things that we've been saying are the truest, most important things in reality are still the truest, most important things in reality, right? Though, right? Yeah. Though that, in fact, I feel just that it's just an exclamation point on that, or perhaps to just more sincerely said quietly, yes. What the things like that? We're all magical turtles. We're all here, and here is home. Here, home is here, and this is our home, and we're all magical turtles here together. So so we I don't like to say we have to, but then you say what you want to say. We get to decide what to do with being here because we are all here. and here is weird, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all still true. Yeah, yeah.
I do miss seeing people in real life and hugging them. I haven't been hugged or touched in so long.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zachary is in a similar canoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep maybe I have been do maybe I've been doing too much of the not, I don't feel like I've been not letting myself feel the bads when I'm feeling the bads, but I do feel like there's so much about what it what it really comes down to, how what this has done to me specifically is give me this longer period of time than ever where I have to disengage from this idea that, and I guess that this is a really good outcome from it as far as growth, that it's that my choices alone are, that it's all riding on me to make reality the musical, the festival good, or to like that we have to just depend on, we have to have hope that the turtles out there in the world are doing their best. And also when we're feeling like we want to do the thing where we try to make reality magical and externalize to others, we can do that with in this way, and hopefully soon like we used to, but then also in this way. Yeah, that's the thing. That's we noticed that is that we've been doing these things where we talk to the turtles in the with the glowing rectangles with the magical turtle technology, and that was possible before, and after it will be so. It's just like this period of time where we just we just have less decisions, but we still get to decide things, and decisions are magical.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it is scary. I don't know much anything except what I do know. Do you know what I do know?
That you love everyone?
Well, yes, and that love holds no record of wrong or fails or sins. Love's here to help you along. It hopes you win. Love's always been on your side, your guide, your friend. To have a lovelier ride, just call us in. Yeah, that's a magical spell that we says to ourselves sometimes, and and yeah, that we don't have to worry at all because we're magical turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay to worry, to feel worried. But
Yes. It's so. But hopefully we can build a world where people will not worry as much anymore
yeah,
and will not have to worry as much anymore. And that's what we have to do out of this situation.
but what? So, but tonight, what if Zachary gets tired and it's late, and is it okay to sleep when feeling tired and rest? What? And then we build the world tomorrow, or do we build the world? We build our world when we can build our world, and then we work together to build the world when we build the world together in the world.
We're always building the world nonstop.
I think so.
Everyone.
I think so.
Yeah. Just by being in it, we're creating it.
Yes. Well, we've built. I'm just very glad to be able to talk to you and to see you. And that's what's we get to see each other. How magical is this that we can see each other and talk to each other?
I'm really enjoying it. I love it.
Yeah. And though we just can't have hugs this way yet. Um. no, Zachary and I, the three of us really agree about that. Yeah, cyborg world is going to be just magical. Um, Maybe in the future I shouldn't say things like that because there's some folks who are really spooked out by that whole concept, and
They
you kind of work better as the harbinger of pure positivity. So yeah, okay, yeah, no, I don't know what to think about that stuff.
are.
Yeah, but it's magical being a turtle, exactly as we are. But yes, we're gonna make this world so magical. We're going to do, we can be whatever we can imagine. The greatest dream a turtle can have is happening now and tomorrow and tomorrow and forever. Kajo. Yay. Okay, I think Zachary's going to go to bed, and you said that you had to do a thing in the world.
Yeah, I have a night on Netflix.
Oh,
With
wonderful. Magical. Yeah, maybe we'll watch a movie or something. Well, I'm gonna finish listening to that podcast that we were listening. Well, I was listening to. Okay. Well, it was so good to see you, Yola, and everybody.
It
So
was
good to see
wonderful.
you. Bye bye,
Oh,
and take care, and be safe, and happy reality, and remember you are dreaming, and we love you all.
love you.
Bye bye.